Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Sports Saviors. It is October 28th, 2024, about 11:45 p.m. The Steelers are 6-2. They've got a 26-18 win over the Giants tonight. Number one in the division. How you feeling about the Steelers and what happened tonight?
Yeah, I'm happy. Like you said, we're sitting atop of the AFC North Division right now, looking pretty good for the Steelers, sitting at 6-2, going into the bye week. Definitely got some help from some of the other teams in our division, but they're playing very well these past couple games. There's still some things they need to clean up and things like that, but they're looking pretty good. I'm excited to see with them going into the bye, getting some recovery from some injuries and maybe cleaning up some things that they've made over the past couple of weeks with different plays and penalties and things like that. But if they can clean some things up, I mean, I think they can be a dark horse in the league, especially in the AFC. To much go far in the playoffs if they can continue playing like this.
Yeah, Russell Wilson has made a big difference, I think. Tonight he goes 20 of 28 for 220 or 278 yards. It's an error on the bottom ticker there. One touchdown. He also, I think, had one incompletion in the second half, is what I heard. He's really stabilized the offense, even though today they weren't able to get many touchdowns. They had to settle for a lot of field goals this game. They were still driving the ball throughout the game. And then Najee Harris, once again, over 100 yards, ends up with 19 carries, 114 yards. Calvin Austin coming out and making some big plays here. He ended up with 3 catches for 54 yards and a touchdown. He also had a punt return TD, the first one since 2019. Defensively, we had Highsmith and Watt, 2 sacks. Watt gets a very key fumble late in this game, sack fumble. And then Beanie Bishop seals the deal with another interception. I think he's pretty a big fan of playing these New York teams, it seems.
Yeah, that's definitely, 3 interceptions in the past 2 weeks against New York teams. He's kind of definitely been shining on the defense for sure. Again, can't say much about TJ Watt. He's just doing his thing every week, getting sacks and forcing fumbles. Alex Highsmith, like you said, got a couple tonight. Nice special teams play again. It's been a couple weeks where they've gotten something going on with the special teams, whether it's a block and now it's a punt return for a touchdown tonight, So Danny Smith is definitely doing something with that special teams, play, and they're definitely making some plays that need to be made, when they need to be made.
Yep. We'll go into Tomlin's post game press conference later, but I do have his instant reaction to the play of the Steelers tonight. There you go. There, immediate meme status for Mike Tomlin's thumbs up there. But I'm sure that's how he's feeling right now after the game like that. I guess we're gonna do a little bit of an expedited post game here since it's a late night here. So I guess. Do you want to go through some team stats first, or do you want me to do scoring summary first?
Yeah, I can do team stat real quick. Again, final score, Steelers 26 over the Giants at 18. Total yards, Steelers at 427 total yards. Again, 2 straight games, looks like over 400 yards. Giants, 393 total yards. Pass yards, Steelers had a total of 259 to the Giants, 236. Rush yards, Steelers 168 to the Giants 157. Something that the Steelers could not stop today was the running game. Yards per play, Steelers at 6.8 yards per play to the Giants 5.9. First downs about the same. Steelers at 20, Giants at 17. Third down efficiency, Steelers 6 for 13 to the Giants 5 for 15. The Steelers did not go for it on fourth down. The Giants were 1 for 1 on fourth down tonight. Total plays about the same. Steelers 63, Giants 67. Steelers were sacked 3 times. Giants sacked 4 times. Steelers punted the ball 3 times. Giants punted the ball 4 times. Penalty yards, it's just the same little thing. A little bit better tonight. 5 for 50. Penalty tonight, still something they need to clean up. Giants 11 for 65. Each team fumbled the ball once. Giants threw an interception. Time possession, Steelers 29 minutes and 13 seconds to the Giants 30 minutes and 47 seconds. So almost like maybe an evenly kind of keeled game tonight for these teams. The defense just could not, again, something I brought up, they could not stop the run. Tracy Jr. for the Giants seemed like he was running all over us tonight. And then whatever pass defense they were in, they were giving up big plays, especially on third downs. They were giving up some long third downs they shouldn't have given up. Of course, they did hold them to 9 points, I think, up until the fourth quarter at some point. But still gave up some late touchdowns that could have brought this game back for the Giants. But the Steelers did what they needed to do at the end of the game, getting turnovers and holding them to certain downs to be able to stop the game of play for the Giants and come out with a victory. But overall, decent game offensively. Again, another 400-yard game for the offense. Najee looked great running the ball, but just some things they still need to clean up with the penalties and the defense.
Yeah, so Tracy ended up with 20 carries, 145 yards, and a touchdown here. The touchdown was a 45-yard run. Both teams combined for 0 for 7 in the red zone when it came to touchdowns.
Yeah.
Steelers 0 for 4 themselves, and then obviously the Giants were 0 for 3. I think that was a big thing that the Steelers might want to address long term. Looking at the game is not being able to score. They got to the goal line a couple times too, so it wasn't just like we're at the 20-yard line or anything. It was, I think Boswell ended up with kicks of. Let me see if I can find his kicks. They weren't fucking far.
No, not at all.
Yeah, we have the first one here was 31 yards. The second one, 25 yards. The third one there, I think, was a little bit further out there. 27 yards. And then one more in the second half, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
That one was 27 yards. So 4 kicks inside of 35 yards is not something you want to see. You want to score on those plays.
Yeah.
That is a little concerning, but I they're still driving the ball. The offense seems to be running a lot smoother now that Russell Wilson's in there.
Yeah.
I think it'll come with time. I think this may have been an anomaly when it came to scoring here, especially when you take into account that Najee was able to average, I want to say, 6 yards a carry. Yeah. And then Jaylen Warren was averaging 5.1. He was 9 of 46.
Yeah.
So, you want to score. You did score 26 points. You want to get touchdowns out of those drives. I know you were saying that they should have scored 45 tonight, right?
Yeah, I mean, they're down there. That's those are touchdowns in the red zone that they need to get. I mean, first opening drive, they looked like a touchdown. Penalty stopped that one. There was another one where the pass was thrown into the ground and he missed Van Jefferson. Another one, George Pickens didn't get 2 feet down in bounds. That was a touchdown right there. I mean, it's just missed opportunities right there. I mean, you're down in the red zone and you're only leaving with 3 points. I mean, that's just not what you want from, your team when you're driving down the field like that. You're having momentum. I mean, I couldn't tell you the last time the Steelers had an opening drive touchdown, so, it's something that we really need to start seeing with this team. And hopefully with the bye week coming up, they can address this to be able to make some adjustments, be able to score in the red zone.
Yeah. I'm not overly worried, honestly. I think they'll figure that out. Just to go over the overall drive summaries here, the first 5 drives of this game from both teams combined was 5 field goals. Steelers went 10 plays, 57 yards. Then Giants came back 8 for 59. Steelers came back 7 for 63. Giants came back 12 for 45. The Steelers came back 12 for 61 to make the score 9-6 after the first 5 drives of the game. The 2 teams traded punts, and then the field goals came back with the Giants going 8 plays, 57 yards to get another field goal. 9-9 was the end of the half. Steelers come out in the second half. There's 2 punts in a row. The Giants then have the ball. They go to punt instead of I mean, I think this is the best play of the game. I just botched it. Calvin Austin has a great punt return for a touchdown where there's a flag on the play. We're all worried that the Steelers must have done something wrong here, but we were wrong. Steelers did not cause the penalty, and Calvin Austin ended up with a great punt return. Let me see the total yards on it. It was a 73-yard punt return from Calvin Austin. That was the turning point, biggest play of the game, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, You know, something like you said, we haven't seen since what, 2018, 2019,
2019, yeah.
2019. So, it was good to actually get something going. And like I said, it's been the past couple of weeks where special teams has actually made a play, whether it's, blocking a field goal, punt, and now a punt return today, tonight, so it's something to see, what's going on with the special teams is looking pretty good.
Yeah, so then Giants go 3-and-out, Steelers get the ball back, go 9 plays, 80 yards for a touchdown. That one ended with a big play to Calvin Austin once again, right?
Yeah.
That's the where are we at here? I am all over the place. Yeah, that is a 29-yard catch for Austin. It was a great throw from Wilson, who had a bunch of good throws. One to George Pickens down the sideline was like perfect. He just was playing great, I think, today. Yeah. And Austin getting a 29-yard touchdown. It's nice to see one of those guys that have been much maligned in the receiving corps. Then the Giants come out. They go 5 plays, 55 yards for a touchdown. They go for 2. And what were your thoughts on that 2-point conversion attempt by the Giants there?
It was silly. I mean, it was it reminded me of there was a play that was in The Longest Yard, the movie, that actually worked in the movie, but it did not work. I mean, I don't know what they were thinking. They would have just been down a touchdown and an extra point. I mean, you go for 2 there. I don't know. I guess they're thinking, they go for 2. They're only down 6, and if they score a touchdown, get extra point, they're in the lead. But you look at that play, it didn't even look like anybody was ready for it. And Danny Jones threw the ball, and they're still looking that way. And I think even Highsmith was confused when he stopped.
Yeah, when there's nothing going on. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know what they were thinking. I don't think any of them knew what they were thinking on that play.
So after the 2 touchdowns that they traded, teams traded 2 more field goals. We're looking at 26 to 18 score. Steelers then had to get the ball back, and Russell Wilson fumbles on a second down play, which leads to a short field for the Giants. However, the Steelers get a fumble back on a sack by TJ Watt that we discussed earlier. Steelers get the ball. They're not able to run the clock out, which is a little disappointing there. They go 5 plays, 29 yards for only a minute 6. Allowing the Giants to get the ball back for one final drive. During that drive, 8 plays, 58 yards, but it ends with a Daniel Jones interception caught by Beanie Bishop. Steelers nail the ball down, 1 play, 1 yard, 26-18 final for the Steelers. It wasn't a perfect game by any stretch, but they got the job done. They're 6-2, top of the division by themselves. Mm-hmm. Control your own destiny. They already control their own destiny since they play the Ravens twice. They play the Browns. They still have all the division games in front of them. But going into the bye, 6-2, this is what they needed to do. I know you had them at 8-0, which is a little crazy in my eyes. Yeah. Let's see what I had them at coming into the bye. I had them at 6-2, so I'm right where I thought. Different losses than I thought. I did have the Cowboys and the Chargers as the losses there.
I still think they could have been 8-0 with the way
they were. Yeah,
kind of went.
They had shots on both
Cowboys
games there.
Yeah.
How about let's hear from Mike Tomlin. Get that ready to go, and then call it a night.
Yeah, he knows where the camera is all the time.
Oh yeah. I meant the real Tomlin this time.
Okay.
Man, really appreciative of our efforts. It wasn't as fluid as we'd like, man, but that's football. We got to guard against style points and things of that nature, man. It was prime time television and football against a team that came in here with a good mindset. We shot ourselves in the foot some early, man, settling for 3. We gave up a couple big plays that allowed them to generate some scoring drives. They kicked 3. But I just like the overall look of the group at halftime. We acknowledged where we were. We acknowledged we needed some plays, man, to break this thing open. And I had a bunch of guys that wanted to be the reason why we were successful. Can't say enough about Calvin, man. I just thought, that's a big play. That punt return, man, was a catalyst for us. Again, as I mentioned, we just got a lot of guys that want to be the reasons why. TJ Watt, Alex Highsmith, man, I thought really provided really consistent pressure, particularly in the second half. We're just thankful to be 6-2 at the turn. We need this downtime, man, to get some guys healthy. We had some bumps and bruises associated with play, but I think that everyone that went down in game was able to return. I'll pause and open it up for questions.
Yeah, he said a lot of the same things we said there. Once again, I did botch the biggest play of the game with Calvin Austin's 73-yard punt return for a touchdown. And also, he brought up the prime time. We should have noted 22 straight home Monday Night Football games that the Steelers have won. The longest streak going, obviously, in the NFL right now.
Yeah, they're pretty good on prime time, especially Monday night and at home. And I mean, they look good when the lights are on them. I mean, you can't say enough about this team. I mean, they usually play some of their better games, when everyone's watching, and that's just who they are as a team, and like he said, that punt return was definitely the turn this game around. Yeah, for sure. It got this game going for them, and Calvin Austin had a great game, and then what we've been seeing, there's just like a second half team for this team.
Yeah.
I think there was a point, all year. And I think there was a point, I think it said that they were 53. They've outscored opponents 53-0 or 58-0 in the third quarter, so that's something else to kind of just show what, what this team has been doing, on defense.
Yep. Let's go back to Tomlin a little longer.
Like fourth straight week, special teams. Say about just that unit's efficiency and effectiveness this year.
It's a legitimate phase of the game for us. We give it that respect not only in words but in our approach, in how we work, and the guys make it real with their efforts. Not only Calvin, but I just saw a couple of guys that secured really, really sharp blocks. Man, they're blocking toward their end line and they shielded as opposed to forcible blocks, and it's just a display of football understanding. And we're not going to be great unless we're not only good at techniques but display football understanding. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention those guys. I think one of them was Rodney Williams.
Danny Williams has been Danny Williams. That screwed me up because of Rodney Williams. Danny Smith has been earning his paycheck these last couple of weeks for sure.
Yeah.
Like they went on there. You can't. It's a valuable part of what the Steelers are doing right now. That every game there seems to be a big play on special teams. I like what we've seen, right?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, between the block punts and the block field goals and now this punt return, I mean, it's been, I think, about 3 or 4 weeks straight now they've had something going, and it's just nice to see. And I just hope that this special teams play can keep up how it's been doing. I mean, if they can, if they can just continue this, trajectory of what they're going, I mean, it's just going to be, tough for teams to stop them on the special teams, whether it comes to blocking a punt or blocking a field goal and things like that. I mean, they're saving themselves, points and things like that, and yardage and stuff, when they make plays like that. So whatever schemes Danny Smith is running, I mean, it's just fantastic. He's doing great.
Yep, I agree completely.
You sense there's another step forward for Russ in his play?
I just thought he didn't need to warm up to it, a little less rust than the week before. But I'm not surprised by his capabilities, if that's what you mean.
Coach, your thoughts on the running game, 167 yards today?
It was really impressive, again, considering some of the circumstances. Can't say enough about guys like Ryan McCullum, man, who are getting an opportunity to step up and put their hand in the pile and carve out space for themselves in this thing. We talk too much about guys that, we don't have in this business, and there's always other deserving men on the other end of that conversation who are getting an opportunity. And Ryan McCullum is one of those guys and a major component of why we were successful in terms of running the football.
Like procedurally, when you get an overturned call on replay assist on a scoring play, when you challenge there, are you just trying to give them more time to look deeper at it? Is that the thinking that went into that?
I didn't know that they use replay assist. So I really wasn't really clear on why it was ruled a non-touchdown. And so I went to the flag. Had I known they used replay assist, obviously I wouldn't have thrown, because you're not allowed to throw when they use replay assist.
So I thought he was going to go more into the offense there. I should have stopped it. Going just run game, passing game. He mentioned both of them there. Both, I mean, over 400 yards, balanced attack, 278 from Russell. I know he got sacked, so that ended up being like 256 or something.
Yeah.
But I think that things are clicking pretty well for them right now on offense, even without the touchdowns they score. And then going to that procedural thing there, I had no clue that he was not aware that they had used replay assist there. I don't know how it's supposed to work. Maybe that's not his fault. Maybe it is his fault. Who knows for sure?
Yeah.
But that is a interesting setup for sure, I think. We got a comment here. Steelers are going to win. I'm hoping that means Steelers are going to win the whole Super Bowl.
Yeah, that would be nice.
They're looking like they can be contender for sure in the AFC. You got the Chiefs who seem to have moved away from the pack, but now are the Steelers second best record in the AFC, right?
I think so at this point. Yeah, I mean, I think they're ahead of the Ravens because the Ravens just lost, and I think they might have the second best record. I mean, coming into the second half of the season, we're going into the bye, but it's supposed to be tough. But just the way they've been playing, like you said, with since Russ has come in and the offense was kind of moving. I mean, I think they can kind of do a lot better this second half of this season. I mean, I know we were a little worried at first, but just seeing the play from some of the teams we are going to play at, and how they've been starting to ramp things up with the offense. I mean, I think maybe they might have a chance.
Yeah. I mean, having a quarterback is just such a difference. We weren't sure what we're going to get with Russ, but what we've gotten is good, solid quarterback play at the least and great quarterback play at the most. I think some of those passes he was making, we have not been seeing those in a long while since Ben's shoulder fell off, really. It's been that long.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Russ is, like he said, there might have been a little bit of rust that first game, but he definitely looks like he's a little more relaxed and a little more confident now to be out there playing. I mean, like you said, some of the passes he made tonight were some throws, like you said, we haven't seen for a while, and it was just nice that he got, the ball down the field and was able to make some plays and put it where it needs to be put, so it's good to, like you said, it's good, to have a nice quarterback in there and the kind of see this offense moving. It's pretty nice.
Yep. Let's finish off Tomlin and then go from there.
Mike, you've been asked about him a bunch of times, a bunch of different ways, but as TJ continues to make plays like he did tonight, the moment that he did, what are your thoughts as he just continues to do that?
I'm not surprised by it, but it doesn't mean that it's not appreciated. I just come to expect it because he's got unique talent. He's got a unique approach. And so usually that produces unique results with a really consistent tone to it and usually at the most timely moments. And so, I think the new Steelers are shaking their heads. I think the guys that have been here kind of expect it.
Given how much the penalties affected, maybe stalled some drives for both teams and had to settle for field goals, can you talk about how much the momentum changed with Calvin's punt return and how much you were maybe relieved that you didn't get called for a penalty on that?
I didn't think we did. I don't live in that fear, to be quite honest with you. We were ready to break this thing open, man. I talked to Calvin before on third down before he took the field. He'd just been close for a couple of weeks, and I thought it was his time, and he thought it was his time, and he delivered.
See, that's why Tomlin's better than us. We were both living in our fears there, huh? We were wearing that flag was the Steelers for sure. And I thought that question was going to go somewhere else. I didn't think they were going to go into Calvin Austin, but penalties this game. It not only drains the momentum for the teams, it drains the momentum for a viewer at home. It's just constantly you got to deal with these flags, and every play you're not just celebrating right away. You have to make sure there's not that little yellow bar at the bottom of the screen. There's no flags in the field. It is. I guess you got to call the penalties when they're there, but it seems like, what was it today? 16 penalties that were accepted. There were probably other penalties that weren't accepted that I can't remember. Well, that punt return obviously was one. And I'm sure there were other plays that I can't remember offhand. But it's just the penalties are just too much. I don't know what you do about it, but it really does kill the momentum of these games.
For sure. I mean, it's something that's just, it seems so elementary that it just, for some reason, teams cannot stop it, and then they're just continuing to do it. And I get that the refs are, a lot of this is like player safety and things like I understand that.
These aren't nothing today was player safety.
Well, there was one that was they said roughing the passer on the Steelers on Danny Jones. There was one that they called, that was accepted. It's just like they just pushed them. I mean, I just don't understand,
Yeah, for the most part, though, we're talking about holding.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a little bit of
other
elementary things that they need to clean up. That it just seems like they're taught not to do, but it just seems to keep happening. And yeah, the flags just being thrown, and it slows the game down, and it's not fair for the fans to just sit there and have to keep having a longer game that needs to be, and then like you said, it slows down the momentum for both teams. But yeah, I mean, 5 for 50 is something that is, I guess, for right now for a Steelers fan, it's like, okay, that's the best you want to see for a
that's
game.
not bad. Yeah,
but 11 for 65, for the Giants, it's like, come on, what are you guys doing? But the other thing he was talking about with TJ, I mean, TJ Watt,
we've said it so many times too. Yeah, that's why I didn't really talk about it. But go ahead.
It just goes to show how great he's like the best defensive player in the league.
Yeah,
and him and Alex Highsmith are the best duo. Defensive end edge rushers in the league right now. They just are. It just goes to show tonight when them two make plays, and get sacks like that and get turns.
Highsmith looks healthy, which is a good sign too for the defense.
Yeah.
Let's see. It should be finishing it up here. A minute left.
Receiving options tonight for us as well.
We've talked quite a bit, man. We got a lot of confidence in our collective. They want to prove that they're capable. Oftentimes, George gets a lot of attention. That creates opportunities for others, and it's their job to deliver. And I just think some of those plays tonight that you mentioned is an example of guys delivering when given an opportunity.
You diagnosed yet what went wrong with the run defense at times?
I'd have to look at the tape, man, and sometimes my natural inclination is to give credit to the people that we compete against. They work hard and formulate plans, and sometimes we're disrespectful when we don't tip our cap to them for the efforts that they did.
What did you think of Russ's deep ball, George?
Again, I'm getting used to taking a look at it. I know if you give George an opportunity, he's going to come down with it. But Russ is doing a lot of things well.
Anyone else? All right, well, Alex and Russell.
Thanks, guys.
Finish that up. Any from those 3 questions there at the end there, anything you want to talk about real quick?
I mean, I think the only thing is what he was talking about with George Pickens. I mean, you got to get 2 feet down. I mean, that was a touchdown right there. You lost.
That was a different play. Yeah, I think he was talking more about the.
No, I know, but I just wanted to. He brought up George Pickens in the question. I just wanted to just bring up that comment. I mean, Russell Wilson is looking decent. It's his second start of the season. He's going to get some more rest going into the bye week, and then coming back, we're going to play. The Commanders after the bye week, but. He's looking nice with his throws. I mean, it was a great throw. That one on the sideline to George Pickens was like it was perfect. It was in the pocket right there. Mm-hmm. He made some great throws to plays that, that should have been, touchdowns and other things like that got negated for penalties. But, his passing looks great. It didn't seem like it was too many antics with drama and stuff today with the game. I mean, a lot of the players, everybody seemed like they were playing right and everything looked good. Mm-hmm. And, when you play like this, you win a game, and Steelers should have scored more, but they did what they needed to do to get a win today to be 6-2 and get the victory. I mean, it's just, it's good to see 2 weeks in a row over 400 yards, doing good on third down, not as many penalties and, controlling the game, the running. The other thing, the one thing I did want to bring up, he talked about the running defense. I mean, it just 2 weeks in a row, they've given up a 100-yard rusher. It's just, I don't know. Maybe New York just has good rushing running backs. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. He wants to tip the cap to the other team. If they figure it out, they can fix some things. I'm not going to get too mad or upset about that. Maybe do tip your gut hat. Jets, they got some good backs last week, and then but this week, I haven't heard too much before today from Tyrone Tracy, but he got a chance and he played well today. Maybe who knows, with the way running backs work, it doesn't matter. He's a 5th rounder. He could end up being a stud in this league. So maybe that is the case. Maybe that is what happened today.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Before today, Cam Hayward's been pretty solid. We'll see what happens. What were you going to say?
Do you have any thoughts on how the defense has been playing this first half of the season? Just any thoughts on your
It's tough because when they're on, especially in the second halves, they've been awesome. But it seems like it's been a trend for a couple years now, where more than a couple years now, that like when you need that stop, they haven't always gotten that stop. They did get one today to end the game. You're going to give them credit for that interception from Beanie Bishop. But yeah, it is frustrating at times for sure. There's a lot of money into the defense. I know some people like to use the overpaid, overhyped kind of lines with them, but it's the way they're utilizing some guys too. The Minkah Fitzpatrick, half this game, he seems like he's 25 yards, 30 yards off the ball, and I just don't long term. I don't see how that is helping them. Maybe they saw something in film that the Giants were going to take advantage of the Steelers over the top and over the middle there, and that's why they had them back so deep. But it seemed weird to have them that deep, playing center field. Maybe it's been happening all year, and I just didn't notice it as much as I did tonight. But he just seemed so far back half this game, like he was almost like where you would expect a punt returner to be.
Yeah, for sure. I don't know. I mean, whatever schemes they're running, I mean, I guess they think that's what's working, and I don't know.
Yeah. Either way, though, we're a little negative towards the end here. Tomlin has something for us here at the end. Steelers are 6-2, lead the division. Let's end it with one final comment from Mike Tomlin.